Formula 1 returns to the fearsome Imola circuit this weekend for round 4 of the new season, and plenty of storylines as we left Australia. George Russell finally getting toppled at the top of the Formula 1 world. Lando Norris taking his first win of the new campaign. However, George is still very, very certain, now tied on points with Max Verstappen, that he will get the better of the Dutchman by the end of the year. But of course, Formula 1's return to Europe and to Italy means it is now the home Grand Prix of no less than 3 teams, of course. Lancia, Ferrari and the Lamborghini engineering on that Williams car. All 3 teams will be gunning for a solid weekend out here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, so let's get right into the action. Quickly though, before we get into this video, I want to thank all of the names you see on your screen. Without their continued support of the channel, none of the work we do here would be possible. And if you want to get your name featured on this list, you can click the join button or click the Patreon link down in my description below and support the channel from just £1 a month. You will also get access to weekly updates about everything going on behind the scenes, and also occasionally some early previews on videos. So yeah, a massive thank you to my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters, and let's get back to the video. Hello everyone and welcome back to round 4 of the F123 Lancia Carremo. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Yes, we're back this weekend, of course. Our first home race of the season. I mean, we've got, what, 3 home teams on the grid at the moment? Ourselves, Ferrari, and Williams Lamborghini. So I'm sure all 3 of us will want to be delivering a big result this weekend. If you missed out on the video that went live on Thursday, I think it was, from Albert Park, Australia, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out there. But George Russell is still on top in the Drivers' Championship, now tied, though, with the ever-consistent Max Verstappen. Lando Norris, a fantastic victory last weekend, leapfrogs him up into P3. And we are currently 6th place then in the Drivers' Championship, still 2 points ahead of Lewis Hamilton. So we are technically the top Italian-affiliated driver in this series so far there. Daniel Ricciardo, safe to say, isn't now last in the Drivers' Championship as well there. But yeah, heading though towards Imola this weekend, I'm hoping we can try and get a good result on the car. We have seen a lot of our new upgrades come through, but I believe we might still be waiting on 1 or 2 of them. No, I think we have got everything done. So obviously the push doesn't stop. We're still going to be trying to get as many upgrades as we possibly can onto this car over the coming weeks and months. But maybe this weekend we're going to be in a bit more of a fight, and hopefully we've bridged the gap kind of between the back markers and the front runners in this series. Well, as Formula 1 venues go, then you don't get much more old school than Imola then. Obviously this place has so much Formula 1 history to it. And this weekend, maybe we'll be able to write a little bit of our own, of course. Last season here, we almost won the Grand Prix in a car that was certainly very, very underpowered until Max Verstappen proceeded to take me out right towards the end of the GP. Hopefully, well, I mean, with the way he's going this season, if we found ourselves around him this afternoon, then hopefully we're on for a pretty good race. But yeah, obviously tied now with George Russell in the Drivers' Championship, 51 points apiece for the Red Bull and the Mercedes driver. But yeah, we want to try and obviously return to the points this weekend as we make our way down towards the final few corners. We're, well, hopefully going to set a decent benchmark then, is almost in the gravel through the penultimate corner. They're out of the final turn up towards the line. Hamilton only down in P18 after his first run. We only go P14. Are going to be very, very tight for time as we make our way in through the final couple of corners to start our second run. Ferrari, though, currently both cars are on the back row then, so they'll be looking to try and see a big improvement here as we are only just going to get back out for another flyer at the end of this session. I'm sure we'll see both their cars vault up the order, but we need to try and get our sweat on, because I need to try and get myself towards, at least inside the top 10, I'd hope. Obviously, Gilles, plenty of Formula 1 history as well then. But yeah, we're finding more and more time as this lap goes on. I'm hoping the Haas, whichever one it is, gets out of the way. So we make our way through Aqua Minerale there. 7/10 up now. It's looking pretty good at the moment. And this final sector we've been very strong through as well. The Sergeant there very, very slow off the corner. Will now jump out of the way, but has certainly compromised my run slightly. 2 more corners to go though. Oh, braking very late there, but we get it stopped. Maybe didn't carry enough speed through the turn though, out of the final corner up towards the line. Half a second improvement. Where is it going to leave me on the grid? I've got no idea at all. Well, there we go. Lando Norris takes his first pole position of the season then. I believe that's 4 different drivers so far have taken pole in this campaign. Bottas will make it a front row lockout for McLaren by just 1,000th of a second over Max Verstappen there. Yuki Tsunoda, a brilliant effort to get ahead of his former teammate there. Shout outs as well, Alex Albon for Williams Lamborghini here, the top performing Italian-based team in this series. But for us, the new upgrade there, clearly a little bit of a disappointment. Over qualifying, 14th for me, 16th for Daniel Ricciardo. We've really just got to hope for a bit of a miracle in the race and make sure that we try and get ourselves back in the points. Before we get into that though, I just want to thank today's video sponsor, IMB Racewear. I get asked all the time why I use gloves for sim racing, and truth be told, it saves you a lot of money in the long run. Yes, when you are using expensive steering wheels, it is really important that you have a pair of gloves that can protect the wheel from your oily, sweaty hands. And IMB Racewear have got some of the best gloves on the market. Of course, you can have the custom branded Mat 212 gloves or any other gloves off of their site. There'll be a link down in the description below. And if you use that, you massively help support the channel at no extra cost to yourself.
This race has gone by several former names. The Italian Grand Prix, the San Marino Grand Prix, and now the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. It's race day. We're at Imola. Welcome. 3.1 miles of track at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula 1 tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit, and it's only DRS zone. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. And Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Tsunoda, Gasly, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Leclerc, Ocon, Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Perez, Firestarter, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Joe, Liam Lawson, Teo Pourchaire, Hulkenberg, Sargent, and Ayumu Iwasa. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me, as usual, for today's race. Now, can I get your take on Max Verstappen? That was a great win in the last race, but can they keep that momentum going into this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
Right, well here we are then, trackside for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and honestly, I feel like going for a little bit of a risky strategy for this one. I've said a lot in this series, but I think if we start on the mediums, we can really try and take him deep into the afternoon. We often get safety cars here. It's a track where the AI tend to make mistakes as well, and nice for a change. It looks like it's going to be beautiful sunny skies all weekend then, but yeah, lining up though on the grid, we have got a slight engine wear on the ICE, but it's 5 red lights. It's lights out and away we go there. George Russell, yeah, championship leader. He's had a nightmare in qualifying. He's not going to get a good start either. Not sure exactly where he thought I was going to try and go there, but we'll find an avenue down on the outside of turn 1. And we will say thank you very much nonetheless. Then contact with Lewis Hamilton off the exit of that first turn as well. So I'm sure he won't be too happy, as he seems to have dropped down the order slightly as well then. So yeah, it really is a mixed up grid here Verstappen, though, immediately looks to be a man on the move. Will inherit P2 of one of those McLaren cars, but, well, I wanted to try and score some points again today, return to form, and immediately we put ourselves just outside that top 10. And immediately after that, we're going to move ourselves much further down that, outside that top 10 again there. Lucky to hang on to the car. We're going to then go side by side with my teammate, Trakracer Minerali. Make sure we give him the room on the exits. We're going to run on Teo Pourchaire there, but struggling with grip on this first lap. As side by side with the Porsche will go. Can we get the power down on the exit of the corner? We're still going to be side by side. Don't often see wheel-to-wheel racing here, but we'll have the inside for the next couple of corners, so hopefully we can try and complete the move. And, well, this race could have been over on lap 1. Luckily this time around we hung on to her. Well, there we go then. First lap with DRS. We'll get a good look at what the top-end speed is like of this car. And, well, Zhou Guanyu in his new V-carb certainly hasn't been setting the world alight so far. And we'll go clean around the outside then. Back down at turn 1.
Great manoeuvre, you made it look so easy.
Mark liking that one. Looks like George Russell is still leading this little train of cars just up the road. So I think this extends up to 11th. Well, I have got to remember as well, of course, we're starting this race on the hard compound tyre. So we've really got to wait for the AI to sort of drop back to me. Pace does seem okay. I'm definitely still lacking a bit of confidence after that lap 1 error. I mean, this is a classic Formula 1 track. There is no room for mistakes, as we almost found out. But yeah, Zhou Guanyu's very quickly dropped away. Gap to Magnussen and Ocon is coming down just a little bit. What's really worrying me at the moment, looking on the timings, is Daniel Ricciardo. We've had all these upgrades finally go on the car, and he still seems to be stuck in with the back markers. Of course, we have got an option in his contract not to renew at the midway stage of the campaign. You guys will have to help me decide about whether we keep the Australian around till the end of the season. There are some rumours of other drivers potentially being available. You know, a couple of drivers already making it clear they might not be happy at their current teams, but only time will tell. When we're closer to the contract negotiation stage, we'll be able to find out a little bit more about who's available. Crossing 1/4 distance, then George Russell is just sinking like a stone at the moment. Hamilton got round him a couple of laps ago. Ocon's just made a move. But the thing I'm a little bit more worried about at this stage is actually the ICE. We're already up to 66% wear. That is not going to be fun towards the end of the afternoon. I don't know if we can develop a bigger fault with it, or whether we'll just struggle more and more with straight line speed. But yeah, that is really not good. Now, considering we're only in round 4 of the season. Can we try and get a switch on Magnussen off the corner, though? We'll try and get on the battery against the Aston Martin Honda. It's very, very clearly trying to defend the inside line there. We will find an avenue, though, and I think already perhaps our tyres starting to work for us, as we will finally move back up into P14. Oh, Russell there, this time around, struggling a little bit on the chicane exit, and, well, it's really, really odd there. Mercedes, absolutely unstoppable with George at the helm in the opening 2 Grand Prix, and it feels like, well, yeah, I mean, he wasn't even that good in Australia before the mechanical failure, but he's like a completely different driver now. He's got nothing he can do in that car as we've got yellows out. Perez will complete a move on Lewis Hamilton. We got a car trying to rejoin. That's Lando Norris. What's happened to him? We're running on board then with Lando Norris as he makes his way down towards turn 1. He's already locked into a wheel-to-wheel battle with his teammate Valtteri Bottas there. Has a look around the outside. Well, he just overcooks it, doesn't he? Lando Norris there, you can just see he made the move. He was very, very late on the brakes, maybe thinking back to Australia, and absolutely mashed the throttle into the gravel trap off of turn 2. That is very, very odd. Heartbreak for Lando Norris then, as he was certainly in contention to try and get his 2nd win in a row. But yeah, Max Verstappen, though, pretty much has got a good little buffer over the rest of the field at the moment. The AI are certainly a little bit nervous into that chicane, and I'm going to pounce on it there. Esteban Ocon maybe taken a bit by surprise, but we've completed the move on the Alpine, and now points again are right there. Well, I think we might have even bigger problems than I'd initially realised. I think it's because of the ICE, but fuel usage here is much worse than I'd originally anticipated, as Hamilton and Perez go side by side through turn 1. I'm going to bobble over the curbing behind them. Unless we get a safety car this afternoon, I think, yeah, we're going to really struggle to make it to the end on fuel. Well, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, one a former race winner, one a former world champion, both in unfamiliar territory, but they are putting on a show this afternoon. As here goes Lewis again, trying to complete a move on Perez. That was really, really dangerous by Sergio, but we're going to make it 3 wide as we head back down in towards Salmon there. Are we going to be able to find a way around Lewis Hamilton as well? Yes, we are. And a very opportunistic double overtake there will move us straight up into P9 of the Grand Prix. I'm going to leave him to fight behind me as well. But that one was all or nothing. While Hamilton and Perez still fighting behind us, Sainz and Gasly having a little bit of a battle as well in front. I think there's a few cars now starting to get a bit stuck behind Alex Albon in the lofty heights of P5. So we're just using these hard tyres to try and bring us closer and closer. However, that fuel usage is awful at the moment. There's still every possibility we get a safety car in a few laps from now. But I think if we get to sort of lap 20, lap 25, we're going to have to really start monitoring it and trying to save some fuel. Cars into the pits, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon then, the first 3 to pit. I'll be honest, I was expecting the AI to probably come in a couple of laps ago, as we are now at half distance this afternoon. So we've still got Sainz and Gasly battling in front. Alpine versus Red Bull. Weirdly though, I don't think those two have ever been teammates, despite the fact it feels like they've driven on most teams on the grid. I think we're going to see, yep, every other car then into the pit lane. So we, for the first time today then, and for the second year in a row, are going to lead here at the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Everyone else going over to the hard compound tyres. I don't really know what to do though, in terms of strategy. Do we just hang out here for as long as we can? See if we get a late race safety car, something like that? I mean, I think we're going to struggle to points anyway because of the fuel if we don't. I think we just got to keep going, haven't we? We're half a lap under on fuel now. As Verstappen, unsurprisingly, straight back into P2. Okay, yeah, Verstappen is cooking. He's taken like 3 seconds out of me in a lap here. We might not be in the lead of this Grand Prix for too long. Longer and longer I stay out here at the moment, the more and more it feels like I'm just doing a bit of a glory run. 0.8 now, laps under, but every race so far, remember, I think we've seen 2 mechanical failures. So, if this is suddenly the weekend where we don't get a single one, that's going to be really disappointing. The problem we have got, though, is it could well still be me that has the mechanical failure. ICE now up at 72%.
Okay, if we continue to use fuel at this rate, we won't have enough to reach the end of the race. You need to start lifting off the throttle earlier in corners. Let the car slow down naturally before you start braking, and that'll help us conserve the fuel you have left.
Well, it's nice to know that Mark has finally spotted that. I only noticed it 10 laps ago. But yeah, now even the team's starting to get worried about this fuel usage. Still, we got 11 seconds to max, and 11 laps left of this GP. On lap 24 of 32 then we start, and still we have no sign of anything else happening. Tyre wear warning light is on, engine warning light is on. It's pretty much a Christmas tree when we look at the MFD, all those lights flashing up at me. I think if we get to the end of lap 26 and nothing's happened, we're probably just going to have to accept our defeat this afternoon. But boy, I mean, imagine if something had been pulled off here. How great that would have looked. Oh, we got yellows. We got yellows. Come on, please, someone. It's a Williams shutting off. I literally just said it's Liam Lawson out of the Grand Prix. It doesn't look like we're getting anything, though. No, Lawson. Couldn't he have just binned it somewhere slightly differently? Well, Liam Lawson, then his teammate having a fantastic race out here at Imola. Lawson, though, the same cannot be said, and it goes from bad to worse there. And yet another Mercedes power unit going up. This time around, it doesn't look like there's much smoke involved, but Lamborghini, I'm sure, will be gutted with that. And that's not good to hear with 7 laps of racing to go. 1.2 laps down on the fuel. We're going to have to pit now. Well, there's certainly been a valiant effort, at least leading a few laps here at Imola, but yeah, finally, we are going to dive into the pit lane then and try and do whatever we can about saving this fuel. I believe it's actually that Mercedes of George Russell that's still in the final points-paying position at the moment, as Oscar Piastri has moved himself up now into what is about to become the lead of the Grand Prix. Now, will we save some fuel in the pit lane? I certainly hope so, as the engine as well really is not looking good. Try and make sure that we get a nice pit stop, as there we go, George Russell making his way out the final corner. So where are we going to re-emerge relative to that Merc? I think we're going to be out behind him. We're going to be mighty fast, but it's pointless, isn't it? We're still 1.2 laps under on fuel. I mean, yeah, we're way down, aren't we? It has been a strategy that has not played off. We're going to have to do a lot of short shifting towards the end of this Grand Prix and a lot of leaning on these fresh soft compound tyres here. But, yeah, I mean, we could probably try and fight ourselves back into the points. But it's going to be irrelevant if we run out of fuel with more than a lap to go. Never the way you want to finish a Formula 1 Grand Prix, having to manage the car, not even feeling like you can try and push it at all. We might just be able to save the fuel by the end of this, but I mean, we're still closing in on Perez because I think he's got a mechanical problem. But yeah, no chance we score a point here as well, surely. Well, we still are going to be able to complete an overtake then on Sergio Perez as we start lap 30 of 32. Porsche, I'm sure, again, a little bit gutted. Score points back in Bahrain. And yeah, I haven't really been able to have a look in since. Perez relegated down into P15. Oh, Tsunoda's gone. Really late in the Grand Prix there. Poor old Yuki Tsunoda. Aston Martin Honda have had a mechanical. I cannot believe that. Little Yuki, bless him. 2 laps to go of this Grand Prix and he's out of it. Well, Yuki Tsunoda then. Aston Martin Honda. Their reliability has been pretty good so far this season, but with just 2 laps to go of the Grand Prix, I think he's going to make his way out of the chicane. And the car's just going to shut off on him. Yep, he's got no power. And Tsunoda so close to home, but still so far away. A huge haul of points run away from Honda. Oh no, the red warning lights flashed up. That means you've got a lap left in the tank on this game. And we've certainly still got more than a lap to go of this afternoon's running here. Max Verstappen, though, starting the final lap of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. He's got Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc, who are really close up to him in the second half of this race. But Alex Albon is running P4 here as well for Williams Lamborghini, so that would certainly be a storybook ending for their crazy weekend. Their return, well, yeah, really, some would argue a return, some would argue a debut race here at home for the Lamborghini team. But 1 lap to go then. We are still 0.4 laps under fuel. Lando Norris and George Russell are 2 previous winners this season. Well, and Lewis Hamilton as well, I suppose. So all 3 of my fellow Brits really have had an absolute nightmare weekend. And I can't say that we've done much better either. This is not Formula 1 racing. You know, the way this car has just given up.
The car ahead by 7.7 seconds.
I don't know how it's suddenly become so much less economical with all the new upgrades on it this weekend, but we have certainly paid the price here. Absolutely have had the pace for points today. You know, like I said, we kind of then realised early on that there was a much more serious issue at play. Not sure you can overtake me like that, Checo, but I get it. We are pretty much out of fuel. Max Verstappen is going to win the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. So he's going to be our first non-British driver to win a race this season on our 3rd in 4 Grand Prix. There it goes, though, into low fuel mode. So we're going to start spluttering in towards the final few corners here. Sergio Perez, I'm sure, is going to try and have a look back past me. Or try and fight it, though, around the outside of him through the penultimate corner there. Perez will have me, though. And out of the final turn, I think Zhou Guanyu's going to get me as well. So depressing. So disappointing. It's P15.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. So let's review the updated driver standings. Max Verstappen's excellent result today sees him take over as the new leader of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talents out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, and with so many Italian teams wanting to take a victory today, of course it was Max Verstappen that ended up claiming his first win of the season there. Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc, though, really did run him down towards the finish of the GP. And, well, if Formula One isn't in a good place at the moment, 6 drivers from 6 different teams made up our top 6 there come the checkered flag. Albon misses narrowly out on a podium in the end ahead of Bottas and Pierre Gasly there, with Sainz, Russell, Ocon and Hamilton finishing out our top 10 then when all is said and done. It means championship-wise, Max Verstappen straight to the top of the table now, a 21-point lead over George Russell there. Oscar Piastri into P3, just 4 points back there. So it really has been those two that are mighty consistent in the start of this season. We're just slowly moving down the order. It's so depressing. We're down into P8 overall of the drivers' table there as Albon gets a big leapfrog into 11th. And, well, yeah, we haven't got many drivers that are yet to score points this year. Just the Alpha Tauris, the Hasses, my teammate Lawson, and Teo Pourchaire there. Constructors-wise, Mercedes still out front, 15 points clear of Red Bull, as McLaren and Ferrari look to build some consistency. By virtue of Tsunoda's DNF, we stay ahead of Aston Martin as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back later on next week when Formula One returns. I think we're heading to Monaco for the duel in the Formula One crown.